Hi everybody. We are getting ready to go on a cruise, and while we were packing we thought, well, you know what, some of the things that we have learned we thought might be helpful to share. So this is going to be our 30th cruise, so I can say that we have some experience here, and it is one of many tropical cruises that we've taken. So I want to preface with a couple things. One, we are not selling anything. I'm not going to put Amazon links or whatever out there unless you can't find something. Some of these things we've had for a long time, and some you're just going to find in a general store shelf. So this is really all about helping you to think through some of the things you may want to take. We also are not going to cover clothing, what you may need for a specific cruise line, any of your toiletries, just the common things that you would take on a cruise. This is all about the things that have made our life helpful on a cruise ship, or we've gotten somewhere and realized, I wish I had that, or I've had to like frantically go search for something in a port that we have been unable to find, or we've paid 5 times the amount for it. So right. That's what the purpose of this is, and we hope that you find it helpful to learn what to take on your tropical cruise.
So thanks for watching. I'm Doug, this is Leah, and we are Go Travel Life.
All right, so one other note, we will post a link to this checklist. It's just a one-page checklist that you can download and print or whatever that we've pulled together. There are 6 different sections that we're gonna cover. So the first section, I call it outside. So one of the first things is tropical location, taking a very lightweight rain jacket or poncho. We also put it in a plastic bag because when you're gonna need it, and you will need it because typically it's rainforest or wherever we're going, it's gonna come back wet, and it's best to put it in a bag. And I'm gonna actually put my glasses on so I can see everything. The next are these bug wipes, and depending on where you're going, if you're going to the Amazon, right, you want something with DEET in it. There are certain locations that we're going where we have to have reef safe sunscreen and bug repellent. Right. So we use these off botanicals. They've been great. They worked great in the Galapagos. Yeah. So we make sure that we have these. Electrolyte packs. If you're going someplace that's hot, humid, it's really nice to have some of these to throw in your backpack, and usually your water bottle. Keep yourself hydrated when you're out there, because we've been in some super humid places where you're gonna need that. Water bottles, a lot of ships are now providing a water bottle for you. So if they aren't, and you can usually find that out, it's all cruise line dependent, but if they aren't, you're gonna want one for excursions and to be able to take that off on the ship. Yeah. We take hats for hiking, for being outside. We wear them around the pool too if we wanna keep the sun out of our face. We got these cool, these are towel clips. We actually got these on Celebrity Cruises. I know a lot of them have them, but if you've got a beach day in a tropical location, it is really nice to have these sometimes so that your towels and stuff aren't blowing away. We've also used them to dry things out on our balcony. I know you're not supposed to do that, but sometimes, you know, like behind the chair, if you got something small that you just hang up, it'll hang up and dry. A beach bag, this is one of our favorites. We got on Holland America because it has these external netted pockets that you can put wet stuff in, or your water bottles, and it's lined. It's a heavier bag versus some of the ones that they give you, and it folds up really small. So that's helpful to have. Water shoes with grip, and I'm actually gonna show you these in its little packing cube bundle because they're easy to carry, but so many times you go to get off like the Zodiac if you're in Galapagos, or in our case we have wet landings in some of the places that we're going in French Polynesia. You're gonna need something like this that you can you know, get easily on and off, and then you want something that you can put them in. This is the little bag that came with our packing cubes. And then lastly, I'm not gonna show you a picture, but snorkeling gear for us, we're gonna be doing a lot of snorkeling on this next trip. So having your own snorkel kit that's yours, and you know, that's
You know it
nice
fits
to
right.
have.
Yeah.
You know it fits right. So, okay.
So the next one is location specific. So these things, obviously, we're going to have some currency. So we're going to French Polynesia. So we did get some of these French Polynesian
Order from our bank.
currency. We ordered this from the bank in advance. We kind of guesstimated how much we're going to need, you know, based on excursions that we had planned, like for tips for the tour guide and those kind of things. So we also bought one of these. They use the European style outlet in French Polynesia, so we're staying at a hotel a few days after we get off the cruise ship. And plus on the cruise ship, oftentimes they have a limited number of US plugs. So if you want to use all the plugs in your cabin, you can have, they always have the European ones. So you can, you know, also use this. So
And we don't usually travel with a converter per se anymore because most things like our computers.
yeah, computers, phones, the stuff we want to plug in, typically you don't need to have, you know, any kind of conversion from 110 to 220. So
That's an
these
adapter.
these are just adapters, and,
Yeah.
and they've always worked great for us. The next thing I have on the list is an eSIM. So our carrier, Verizon, you know, charges $10 a day per phone for any kind of data. So if you're off the ship and you don't have Wi-Fi, but yet you want to stay connected, your choices are either buy a local SIM, you know, at a shop, you know, in the country you're in, or buy an eSIM, and that's what we like to do. We've used Airlo in the past. We use that in Australia, and we've used it in Europe, and it works great. Typically, as far as data goes, we restrict all the different apps. We have it just like for Google Maps, for you know, just whatever essential apps that we want to use when we're off the ship. We kind of turn everything data-wise off and use the eSIM. And well, for this upcoming trip, we got a 30-day eSIM for French Polynesia. It wasn't Airlo. It was a company called Sim Local, because Airlo doesn't cover French Polynesia. So I think it was $13 for 30 days, and was 5 gigabyte. So it was a pretty good deal. So
And they let you top it up.
yeah, and you can also top it up if you need to. Now the one downside is you can't use SMS messaging and you can't use phone calls, but we just tell, mostly it's our family that would want to get a hold of us, and we tell everybody, you know, text us on Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or something like that if you need us, or call us, you know, on one of those other, you know, Facebook Voice or,
Yep.
or those apps. So, you know, it's worked out really well for us, and we save a ton of money with these eSIMs rather than, you know, the $10 a day per,
Yeah,
you know,
that
per
adds
phone,
up when
so-
you're gone for 30
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so our next section is clean. So one of the things that is an absolute for me is being able to take like a small, you know, travel size bottle of detergent, a little sponge, and then I've got a brush in here. Just the number of times we wished we had, for example, cruise ship is, maybe they give you a water bottle, but you're opening it up, you can smell the new smell. It needs to be washed, and then you're using it sometimes for 2 or 3 weeks, and you really don't have any way to wash it. I would also say that sometimes you have real coffee cups in the room, and I know they use these weird sprays and stuff to clean the cups and the glasses, and it's just, trust us, this is good to have. It's good to have a small bottle, and you can get these at like the Dollar Tree. Just get a little one, and then I just fill it up for every trip. Antibacterial wipes, these are a big deal. You know, they really rush. We love the cruise, but it's nice to sort of wash down the remote, the door handles, just really quick when you check into a room, and you're going to be in it for a long time, so it's good to have these. This has come in handy more times than I thought it would. It is called a Scrubba wash bag. If you are on a cruise that does not have a laundry room, and so the all
Self-service laundry.
Yeah, self-service laundry. This is fantastic to be able to at least, you know, wash out your bathing suit, your gym gear, whatever. And you know, this clothesline is retractable. It's got little clips on it. You can hang that across the bathroom or whatever. It's worked out great for us versus spending hundreds of dollars sending things off to laundry. And again, we only take that when there's not self-service laundry on the ship. or some, because sometimes we also have
Right.
laundry included in whatever room type we have or packages or whatever. So that has come in handy a bunch of times. This Downy wrinkle release spray, it's okay, pretty good for, you know, you're not gonna iron one of his shirts with it, but you can get some wrinkles out of, you know, polyester clothes or something like that that's just gotten a little haywire from being in the bag. Tide to go sticks, these are priceless.
Yeah, I've used those quite a
Especially
few
with
times.
this one, because his dinner ends up here and there, so that's kind of nice to be able to have those. And then last are these are laundry detergent sheets. I'm sure you've seen these by now, but it's just one sheet, does one load. Sometimes cruise lines provide laundry detergent and they want you to use theirs. Many times they don't. This is also handy when like we'll stay in an Airbnb or we'll stay in a hotel sometimes afterward that has washing and drying services. These are nice to have. They're inexpensive. Just don't let them get really hot. I tend to throw them in the fridge on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
I'll slide them in the back so that they don't get melty.
All right, so the next one is helpful tech tips. So the first one we have is this little scale. And basically you put it around the handle of the suitcase, you hold it like this, you turn it on, and you can then, you know, weigh your suitcase to see if you're not over that airline limit. So we do this before we go, and then we're packing up, you know, for the cruise, for the, you know, the day of the flight. We like to make sure that we're not over the limit.
You don't want to be that couple who's got their bags. We've seen this so many times at the airport on the floor open while they're trying to reshuffle the weight. And so far, out of 30 cruises, there's been one ship, that put out scales
Holland
the night
does that,
before. Holland America did that. And we've not seen that anywhere else. So that is an inexpensive little solution to that problem.
The other thing we like to bring is we like to bring a power brick. Now this one can do 2 devices, and when they also, of course, take this with us on excursions. And we have this, sometimes if you want to have your phone by you at night, there's a nightstand, but there's only charging device or USB outlets or outlets at all on one side of the bed. So the other person who's on the other side of the bed, you know, has to, you know, can't have their phone next to them. A lot of times we like to, you know, read before we go to sleep, read on our phone. So this is handy. We use 2 long cables, and it's like having a power outlet, you know, on your bedside.
And then I have the small one.
And then Leah has this other small one that we take with us a lot.
I throw it in my bag as a spare sometimes because my battery always dies too.
So we're doing a lot of snorkeling and a lot of, you know, other water type excursions on this upcoming cruise. So we have this little phone case, and it's got you can either put a lanyard on it or you can put one of these on it. You know, we've had limited success with this. We tried it in the Galapagos. It was kind of a pain to take you know, to get your phone in and out every time. But we're gonna bring it, we have a GoPro, so for underwater, that's what we're gonna use, but you know, we're gonna bring this just in case, you know, we don't want a chance dropping our phone in the water and not having it. Travel, so this is, I just have this bag with all of our essential cables in it. It goes
everywhere.
It's in my backpack that I travel with. It goes everywhere with us. And then we have this multi-port charger. So this little charger, you know, has a USB-C, a fast charging USB-A, and then 2 regular USB-A. So, you know, we can charge multiple devices with this. It doesn't have a cord, so I know that some of the cruise lines now don't allow anything like this that it has a cord that you plug in. So this one you can plug right into the outlet, and I haven't heard of a cruise line that cares about this.
Nobody's taken it away yet. Okay, and then the last section is just little miscellaneous stuff, depending on where we're going. The first is baggies. This may seem silly, but the number of times we wish we had a baggie, whether this little guy decides to leak or let's just say they happen to have, I don't know, some little snacks or something that, like they'll bring us raspberries or something in the room and I can't eat them all and I would want to save them, throw them in a baggie. It could be, you know, there's something on the buffet that you want to have a snack later and you don't want to carry a plate back or whatever. It's just come in handy to have extra baggies. Lanyard, this is cruise line specific, whether you get a card or not. I found that sometimes you do want to wear the lanyard to carry the card around, especially if I'm wearing a dress, no pockets or something like that, where I don't have any place to put the dang card. Getting a couple that you like. And most cruise lines still have card. Princess has a medallion. They have other accessories that you can buy. Like I have a little watch that you can slide your medallion in, but those are nice to have, cruise line dependent. And then you got the...
Yeah, so the other one is that we have these luggage tags. So oftentimes now cruise lines just, email you your boarding, your luggage tag. So they just email your luggage tag. You've got to print them out, and you can either staple them to the handle of your suitcase, or you can use one of these little devices. We've had these for quite a while, and they come in handy. And so packing cubes. Oh yeah, these are. So we've been using packing cubes for about 2 years now. They're handy. There's all different sizes. We love these. We can just unpack them, put your underwear or your socks in one,
They
swimming
slide
trunks,
right into the
gym
drawer.
clothes, whatever.
We just unzip them and flip the top over,
Yeah,
and it goes
and so
right in the drawer.
and we also, if we're flying in, we always, typically fly in either the night before. We usually, pack whatever we're going to wear the day on the ship. We pack those in one of these, just one of them, so we don't have to root through all of the other, bins and things that are already packed and mess them up. So we have one for the, for the day of the cruise.
Okay, and then small card games. A lot of ships have like a game section, and puzzles and all that kind of stuff. We don't bring any of that. These are just little. We love playing Dutch Blitz. We had a friend of ours that got us hooked on this. We have a little Monopoly card game that literally takes 20 minutes to play.
Yep.
Right, left, center. I mean, anything that's small. And we only take these on cruises where we have like a bunch of sea days. Like this next one is 4. I think Japan is 6 days. So you've got a bunch of sea days, and it's just one of those things that's nice to have. So we have extra things to goof around and do. Luggage bag identifiers. I'm just going to hold up one of these. There's a bazillion different types of these, but when we were in the Galapagos, they gave you kind of a custom backpack that was kind of designed to go out to the islands. It had water bottle spots and all. They're great bags, but everybody got the same bag. And we also find that sometimes they'll put all this luggage in one area, and it's really hard to find your stuff. So I usually throw I have these on like backpacks, and I'll put 2 or 3 on a suitcase or whatever. They're small. They're really inexpensive, and I'll throw 3 or 4 of these at the bottom of our bag, just so that if an occasion comes up or we're going out on an excursion and they give you some bag, you've got something that you can identify it with. And then wall magnet hooks. So people talk about these all the time. We use them all the time. There's only been one cruise in all 30 where they didn't work, and that was an old Norwegian Haven ship, specifically to the Haven, I think. We could not get them to hook anywhere in the room. But these are invaluable to hang up, my purse, lanyards, anything coming in from the day that, it just, what you want to look for is the weight that it holds. How much does it hold? What are you wanting to hang on it? If it's, a wet bathing suit, that's fine. You're not going to hook like a backpack on one of these typically, unless you buy one that's super strong. So just look at that. And the very last thing I want to talk about, I just call it medical. And I've got it on the list. I mean, I have a few things on there, but we have a special bag that, just because of the number of cruises we've been on and things that have happened, it's not huge, but it does have the essentials that we feel like we need. Motion sickness tablets. If I am we went from Australia to New Zealand, you're going across the Tasman Sea, there's a couple of rough days. If you're doing a transatlantic, there's probably going to be a couple of rough days. Even if you're leaving the Caribbean in December or January and you're heading, down to Puerto Rico or whatever, there's probably going to be a day or two where you've got 10 to 15 feet swells. You just do. It just happens on a ship. And in this case, we're going from Hawaii over to French Polynesia. We know there's going to be a rough day or two. So we take Bonine in the morning, literally an hour before we get up. We'll sit there and just sip coffee and, take that. And it really, for us, it helps. You obviously need to do what works for you. I always bring a wrap, for a wrist and ankle or whatever, because you're on a moving ship. You know, stuff happens, you get tossed around. Hopefully we'll be able to do some video of the crossing, but there are times like literally people walking in the hallway look like this. So always prepared to, you know, have a twisted ankle. We always bring ibuprofen, Tylenol, just small bottles, so we've got something if somebody's headache, pain, whatever. We bring, you know, COVID tests, and we bring the medications that work for us when we're sick. So whether that is Sudafed can be hard to find, let me just say. So that's one of your things that when, you know, you get sick, you need that. Just bring a little bit of it, you know, bring some of it so that you're all set. And then we always have like travel hand wipes and things like that. So this list we'll put in I think it's a Google share. He'll put that document out there so you can just download it.
There'll be a link in the description.
Yeah, but I think hopefully this was helpful. These are the things, again, 30 cruises. It's helped us along, and
So if you did find it helpful, we'd sure appreciate you, you know, hitting the like button and subscribe.
Yeah.
And we'll see you.
If you can't find something that you want to find on this list, just put a comment out there, and I will help you find it.
Yeah. So thanks for watching.